Next on the Broadway Show, it's Broadway's biggest night, and we're celebrating with the First Timers Club, some of this year's hottest first-time nominees. And you'll hear from the host of this year's Tony Awards, pop icon Pink. I'm Tamsin Fidel, and this is the Broadway Show. It's a star-studded Tony Awards weekend. I'm Tamsin Fidel, and Broadway's biggest night is back. But let's kick things off with the host of the 2026 Tony Awards, pop icon Pink.
The opening is going to be wild. There's going to be 170 people on stage, and it's just a full-blown, ridiculous celebration. I told them my one caveat was that immediately, as soon as I step onto stage, I have to make fun of myself and make it absolutely just about fun and celebrating everyone. It's going to be an incredible show.
So let's take a look at some of the nominees. Here's what's up for Best New Musical.
I wanna belong to someone.
The Lost Boys. Schmigadoon. Titanique.
Follow my stride, just follow my stride. I'm Bonnie, you're Clyde, Bonnie, I'm Clyde.
Two strangers carry a cake across New York. Here are the nominees in the Best Musical Revival category. Cats, the Jellicle Ball. Ragtime. The Rocky Horror Show. Up for Best New Play. The Ballisters. Giant. Liberation. Little Bear Ridge Road. And the nominees for Best Play Revival. Becky Shaw. Death of a Salesman. Every Brilliant Thing. Fallen Angels. Oedipus. And of course, you can check out the complete list of nominees over at Broadway.com. So the 2026 Tony Awards are here, and we're talking first-time nominees, which is always exciting.
Yeah, every year we gather an amazing group of first-time nominees, and this year they're all in the same category, Best Leading Actress in a Musical, an incredible group of women.
Yeah, we brought them here to the Grand Salon at the Waldorf Astoria Residences, New York, which is an incredible place, right? So, of course, there's a hotel, and people live here.
Yeah, Cole Porter lived here for 30 years and composed all of his hits on a Steinway piano that you can still see in the lobby. And not just that, Tim, in 1947, the very first Tony Awards ever happened here in the ballroom.
All right, so how have you been since finding out about the nomination?
It's been really special. I feel, this nomination, I really feel the support from the community, and I just love this project so deeply, and it holds so much of my weird, and it feels really special that it's being recognized. And also this reimagining of Janet. Someone said to me the other day that she was like a grounded clown ingenue, and I feel really honored by that.
Hold on to those words.
Yes, ground clown ingenue. I got my start in downtown experimental theater, and I've always really identified with the freaks and never really considered myself a leading lady, so I feel like I'm sitting in a room full of princesses right now. I'm like having major whoa, these legends and true yeah,
That's
powerhouses.
Same. I just did basement comedy theater for I dragging wigs across Midtown and mannequins, and to be here feels so fancy. And also, like, when I don't land a joke, sometimes I'm like, can they take it away? Is that how they work?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought the same thing. I felt the same way. It does bring up all of those insecurities and imposter syndrome.
Imposter
Yes,
syndrome.
totally.
Of course.
I feel the same way as you. Like, basement of a Gristides, basement comedy, $75 wig on Hollywood Boulevard, and like now here, but I still feel a sense of like, oh my God, like, did I do enough to deserve anything like this?
You're actually nominated for 3 Tony Awards,
Yes.
Best Musical, Best Book of a Musical, and Best Actress, Leading Actress in a Musical. But I actually thought a few years ago that you were just never going to come back to Broadway.
Honestly, same. I'm just as surprised as you are. I famously left musical theater, and I was trying to be a writer in Los Angeles, and it was not working out for me. It all worked out, but I feel really bad turning my back on it for a while to exclusively be a TV writer because it didn't work out. Ironically, the thing that has worked out is my love, is my passion, which is theater. And also, I get to star in something that I wrote. It doesn't really happen like that. I can count on my hand the people that have been nominated for things that they've also written. And I don't think a woman has been nominated as an actress for something that she's written. So I really feel like I have broken a glass ceiling, and in a way that I had never anticipated, but in a way that, oh my God, I am even more grateful than I could imagine, because I know that this doesn't happen very often.
Can I ask what your first show after the nomination was like?
Hell.
Mine was bad. Like,
Mine
it
was
like,
bad too.
Bad.
Mine was also not great. I felt like there's so much build up to these nominations, and when I found out of the nomination, I was so thrilled, and then I sort of had a crash in the afternoon, and I was like, I started to feel a little crazy and a little like, what's happening, and I don't know how to feel about this, and should I be happier, or should I be anxious, or should all the shoulds started coming out. And it wasn't until I got to the theater and we had a circle up on stage to celebrate the nominations for the show that I then finally cried.
How does it feel with the show right now? How does it feel with, you know, who you are and what you've brought to that role?
The role is so wonderful. It's so deep and complicated and exciting to play every night. So that alone is a gift, just getting to play this part in this show at this moment in time. Because we really feel the audience craving this story right now, which just as an actor gives you immense gratitude and satisfaction every night. But then to be recognized with this Tony nomination just for me feels like the biggest wraparound hug I could get from the community that I've put 20 years into, you know, and to finally be in the club and to get this kind of recognition. I knew it would mean so much to me, but I didn't realize how much it would mean. That's been the biggest gift, is I'm at a point in my career where I can really appreciate how special it is.
2 years ago, you went public with your cancer journey while you were in The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
You're doing well now.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that sort of refocus you, or how are you different now than you were a couple years ago?
Oh gosh. Well, I think in terms of this moment, not only am I able to appreciate this moment just because I've been in love with musical theater my whole life, but because when it got taken away from me 2 years ago, I didn't know if I would be able to do it again or participate. And so to have this moment, because that happened, makes it even more surreal and amazing. And you know, I left that show and I didn't know if I would come back because the chemo had taken my voice away, and I didn't know if it was going to come back. And that was a really scary time because I love to perform. So the fact that it did come back and that I'm here now, I don't take 1 second for granted. And even though it's hard, it's not as hard as it was 2 years ago, that's for sure. I'm better able to really appreciate and be so grateful for every moment.
Can I ask y'all about the imposter syndrome thing? Do y'all have, like, prior to the nominations coming out, did y'all do anything about, like, saying to yourself, like, it's fine, like, coaching yourself into the, like, don't expect anything, you are worthy regardless?
100%.
So then when you got it, were you like,
yeah, that. I didn't sleep the whole night before because I was like, it's fine either way, it's fine either way. And then I was like, okay. Because it is fine either way. Like, I wasn't going to say, oh wow, my show wasn't Tony worthy or whatever if it wasn't validated by that. For Schmigadoon, like, I would look up into the balcony and it was 60% full. After the nominations, now it's like 100% full. And that's what is most important thing, I think, for us.
What's it been like to get here in this show in particular?
Oh my goodness, it's very exciting. That just made me emotional because I'm thinking about the interview we did with I think it was Kong, and I was just so nervous.
At the theater.
Yes, and I remember just being like, trying so hard to be who I thought I was supposed to be. And it feels so good to be in this moment now with this show where I am exactly who I am and I am where I'm supposed to be, and I just feel so settled. And the character I get to play, you know, Robin, she's just so real and she's so grounded in who she is, even though she's struggling to figure out what it is. But it just feels like the biggest blessing. Like the character and the person have met at such a really good time. Yeah.
Isn't it nice to be able to enjoy it?
Girl, it's so nice. It's so nice, especially because the day the nominations came out, I've never cried that hard. I was so emotional. I know right now, being amongst you guys and sitting with y'all, I feel really like grateful. I've gotten to see almost every show that's up here, and if I haven't seen the show, I've seen clips. And I love, like, the work is so good. So for me, I feel very validated because I'm like, well, if I'm here with you guys whose work is so good and so nuanced, then like, I might not be half bad. You know what I mean? That's how I'm feeling just looking into y'all's eyes.
I can really feel in this room, in this moment, like how hard everybody has worked to get to make the art that they're making now. And it feels really special that it is all of our first times. And I know how hard and how much has happened for you to get here, and that feels like such an incredible celebration. And I think in Broadway we often honor who's been here the longest, and it always feels really exciting to be in a room full of firsts.
Thanks so much again to the Waldorf Astoria Residences New York for having us during this exciting Tony time. The Broadway Show is back in just a sec. Welcome back to the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsin Fidel. Let's get back to it. Time now to look at another big award, our annual Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards. The results are in, and you've picked the winners. We caught up with the winners at the Audience Choice Awards party.
It's a real honor. I think that's the thing that we're most excited about with this whole process. I think we're bringing a whole new and different kind of group to the theater. You can feel it every night. It's exciting. It's a lot of first-time theater goers, first-time Broadway goers, and yeah, we're just really honored that they dig what we're doing.
And I just think for this play, you know, I think it was certainly mine and Jon's, was to make something that was going to be a little bit more dynamic than a lot of plays and sort of more engaging with the audience and just something different than, like Jon said, will hopefully bring in people and inspire people to see other plays and write plays and just get involved more with New York theater.
It's the most meaningful because it's from the audiences, and the audiences are my favorite character in the show. So this means the most. Thank you.
I think it's important to have at least one where there's like an established, this is up for the people. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what theatre is about. And I think they definitely have a right to have a voice about who they think is who they like. You know what I mean? The people who actually invest with their own money, you know, and keep theatre alive. I think it's very important that they have a voice.
Still to this day, even though we've been open to the fall, they're like, you know, I didn't know what to expect. I loved it. Or people have seen it for the second time. They're like, this time I brought my mom. This time I brought my grandma. So it feels like our show is finding community, and people are realizing that, like, this is for your grandma. This is for your loved ones. You know what I mean? To come share and to come laugh. So it was really good.
Every single night over at the Imperial Theater, it is a rock concert, and the audience is having the most incredible time with laughter and just these people standing up on their feet and cheering and supporting each and every cast member in their moments in the show. And it's wild. I've really never experienced anything like that before in a theater. It's like you can feel the walls vibrating.
This one is voted on by the people, and the fact that the people have spoken and given me this incredible award. Thank you so much, Broadway.com, and everyone who voted and everyone who's seen Ragtime 5, 7, 10 times. Really appreciate you.
See a full list of those winners over at Broadway.com. Renowned Broadway music director Mary Mitchell Campbell is set to receive this year's Isabelle Stevenson Award at this year's Tonys. It's for her extensive advocacy and humanitarian work in the theater community. Here's Perry Sook.
Well, what an honor. Today I am joined by the 2026 Isabelle Stevenson Tony Award winner, Mary Mitchell Campbell. Mary, I just have to start by saying congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Well, I mean, it's so well deserved. I mean, when you look at obviously your Broadway credits and your work with Encores and everything, that list is very long, but your humanitarian efforts are as long a bio. I mean, what motivated that? We're coming on 20 years of Arts Ignite. You know, you were one of the founding members of Muse, plus all of your other charity work with Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS and music directing, everything in between. Just what started that?
When I first moved to New York City, I showed up at Broadway Cares. I asked if I could start volunteering. I got really involved there. In 2003, I went through a relatively bad breakup and decided to go volunteer for months in India. And so when I came back, I was like, I really want all of this to mean more than just putting on a show. And I watched how art has the power to transform community. You know, it really brings people together, but also being able to use the arts to teach health education and life skills to kids who are in extreme situations and get them to imagine going to college. Because imagination is not a muscle they are often asked to exercise, but we get to do that all the time.
Sure.
And so being able to bring that into those communities was really special.
Can you talk about, you know, now coming on 20 years,
right.
Just what the program has done over that span?
Well, we've reached about 45,000 young people at Arts Ignite. And so that's been a major impact in the US, Africa, and India primarily, but other countries as well. I think the thing to me that's the most powerful is just getting to watch a lot of those kids go to college, graduate. Some of them have gone into the arts, which was never the goal. The goal was just to get them to college.
Sure.
You know, one of the ones that I was working with recently has now become a teacher of musical theater. And it's kind of wild to me that we introduced it to her when she was 12.
What does it mean to you to receive a Tony Award like this?
To me, this Tony is so special because it's about advocacy. And like I said, I really believe in the power of art. You know, I really believe in arts education. I'm a big advocate of like moving from STEM to STEAM in the classroom. I think it's incredibly humbling and rewarding to be part of this community to begin with. When I moved here from North Carolina, never even thought that I would do a Broadway show. So to be able to be part of this incredibly special group of people that make up the Broadway community for 20 years is an unbelievable gift, and this just feels like an incredible icing on the cake.
The Jimmy Awards. It's a huge and amazing event that happens in New York City every year, featuring the absolute best of the best musical theater talents from high schools all across America. These incredible high school student performers take part by winning a regional competition. The regionals happen in around 40 cities all over America. Now on the lead up to the Jimmies, the Broadway show shines a spotlight on the students and the cities and the impact these competitions and awards have on those amazing teens. And this year, we're hitting the road to showcase all the hard work that goes into prepping for this night in New York. This is the road to the Jimmies.
This year, it's the 20th anniversary first of the Adrian Arts Center here in Miami. And so we're so excited that for the first time in our 20-year history, we have the Arts High School Musical Theater Awards that we affectionately call the Arsties.
5, 6, here it goes. 3, 4, yes ma'am, 6, 7, 8, 1.
And let me tell you, it's been such a delight. There is so much work that has been done around not only the ceremony, but the actual program itself. And so to really see all these young people, their theater teachers, their educators, their family, and also the Arts Center staff come together, there's a lot of excitement around it. We knew that there was so much talent in Miami and these young people in high school theater, but my goodness.
And the Archie goes to Best Actor, Alec Avila, Man in Chair, The Drowsy Chaperone. And Best Actress, Olivia Serrano, Roslyn, As You Like It.
It was the amalgamation of everything we'd done. So when I heard my name, I was just like, I guess I'm going to the Jimmies. I guess this is my road. my path that I get to walk.
I genuinely didn't think it was me. So when I heard the first syllable, I was like, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. And then I was completely taken aback, but also like simultaneously so excited and in shock. Like the opportunity to go with Alec and represent the Arsht is going to be incredible.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to see extended cuts of all the interviews, head over to Broadway.com and be sure to check out The Broadway Show Uncut wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsin Fidel, and this is The Broadway Show.